Okay, well, mistimed interest rate hiking cycle. That's how Elarian puts it. Mark Matthews of Bank Julius Baer and Company is joining in. Mark, good to have you back on the program. Thanks very much. Here and now, are these global banking worries receding a little bit?
Apparently, the company that bought Silicon Valley Bank yesterday, this company, First Citizens Bancorp, its share price was up 53% last night. So that's telling you the market thinks that issue has been resolved.
Okay, that's what we were just discussing a while back as to how now SVB, the whole issue seems like it was a long time ago. And India definitely has, come out strong. There's not been too much of a hit here. But how are you feeling about the Indian market now? We have earnings season upon us. The market has been in a really tight range. Do you see any reason for this range to break out either way?
Yes, I think the dollar could be very helpful to India because the Fed is definitely, if not at the peak of the rate hike cycle, then extremely close to the peak. And as Mohammed Al-Aryan said in your clip that you just played, the market thinks that U.S. rates will be substantially lower by the end of this year. On the other hand, you have the Eurozone where they're going to be publishing their inflation this coming Friday. And if the consensus is correct that their core inflation, CPI inflation is 5.7%, that will be higher than U.S. core inflation. And I think will cause some repricing of the euro. And the euro is 2/3 of the dollar index. So I think the dollar will continue to slowly decline, barring an enormous banking crisis. And then, I think it would probably be going up as a risk-off kind of thing. But that's not our base case. And of course, when the dollar falls, that's a great tailwind for the Asian markets, including India.
Hi, morning, Mark. Yeah, that's good news, right? If the dollar index can cool down, then that's a tailwind for emerging markets as well as India. But how do you approach the Indian markets from here on, Mark? And what would you like to buy here in the Indian markets? The banks, well, they were a consensus buy, but they have corrected a fair bit. Is that a pocket you like?
Yes, we haven't changed our view on them. We like them. I think that every market in the world, it won't go up or down in a straight line. They aren't linear and they chop around. Sometimes they can go sideways for quite a long time. So I'm not at all disconcerted by India's underperformance so far this year, despite the fact everybody seems to be talking about it. You have to remember last year in relative terms, it did well compared to most other markets in the world. And the year before it did very well. So it won't always be outperforming. And this could be a year where it underperforms some other markets. But I haven't changed my opinion at all. We like banks, and I think the Indian market is fine.
Indian market is fine. Actually, the index has not seen too much damage, Mark. The broader markets have naturally seen more. There is that kind of dispersion always which comes up. Mark, but out of Europe, what's the view with Deutsche Bank? And when I mentioned those banking worries, there's a question first up. I had more Europe on mind than US. So any thoughts there?
Yes, I think that the problem isn't really in Europe, it's in America, just because of the structure of the banking sector. In Europe, you don't have these small, almost pound-sized banks that you do scattered across the United States. I mean, there are some smaller regional banks, but they're not nearly as important for the economy, for the banking sector as the big banks are in Europe. And because they went through the global financial crisis and then their own European crisis, the banks there are sufficiently capitalized. And I wouldn't worry about it. And whatever Deutsche Bank's CDS spread is right now, I don't know, but never got anywhere close to where Credit Suisse's was.
Okay, all right, Mark, we'll let you go on that note. Thanks a lot for joining in. And good to know that after everything, India is still one of your preferred markets. And the banks is the space that you want to be in the Indian markets. Thanks a lot for being with us. Well, that's Bank Julius Baer and Company. Let's slip into a quick break. On the other side, our list of top 10 stocks with our entire research team coming up. So don't go anywhere.